Menopause in your heart. A gynecologist reveals 5 silent warning signs. Have you ever experienced a peculiar sensation of breathlessness while ascending a familiar flight of stairs? Something that previously never caused you a moment's pause. Or perhaps you have felt an unusual sense of heaviness spreading across your chest after walking just a short distance, only to dismiss it as a natural consequence of getting older. If you are a woman over the age of 60, I implore you to take a moment and listen with great care, because at times, what feels like the normal progression of aging may, in fact, be one of the silent signals that your heart is struggling in the aftermath of menopause. I am Dr. Lily Stones, a gynecologist who has dedicated more than 3 decades of my career to caring for women through every single stage of their lives. In this discussion, I am going to guide you through 5 silent signs indicating that your heart may be at risk after menopause, subtle clues that frequently go entirely unnoticed until it is critically late. I will also share the story of one of my dear patients, Elena, a 67-year-old grandmother who was convinced that her constant state of fatigue was simply an unavoidable part of the aging process. But what she eventually discovered about the state of her cardiovascular health completely altered the trajectory of her life. And by the conclusion of our time together, you will know the exact signs to look for and what concrete steps you can take, starting today, to protect your heart for all the years that lie ahead. Before we proceed, please do not forget to subscribe to this channel, leave me a comment below, and let me know if you have ever experienced shortness of breath or an unexplained sense of fatigue since the onset of menopause. Your personal story might be the very thing that helps another woman who is watching right now. Because here is the unvarnished truth: heart disease is the #1 killer of women after menopause, but it does not have to be your story. By understanding these hidden warning signs at their earliest presentation, you can seize control of your health, restore your vitality, and keep your heart strong and resilient for the years to come. Many women operate under the assumption that heart problems always announce themselves with a sharp, stabbing pain in the chest, but the reality of the postmenopausal years is often profoundly different. The first silent sign I want you to become attuned to is a state of constant, unrelenting fatigue. I have had countless patients tell me, "Dr. Stones, I just feel bone tired all the time. I simply thought it was age catching up with me." But here is the crucial piece of information that many do not realize. After menopause, your estrogen levels plummet. And estrogen is one of the key hormones that once helped to protect your blood vessels. Without its beneficial effects, your arteries can begin to stiffen, and your overall circulation can become sluggish. When your heart is not pumping with optimal efficiency, your entire body feels drained of energy, even after a full night of restorative sleep. Imagine your body as a flowing river and your blood vessels are its channels. If the current becomes weak and slow, everything stagnates. That feeling of sluggishness is not just aging, it could very well be your heart asking for assistance. The second sign is a noticeable shortness of breath. It might manifest itself when you climb a set of stairs or walk at a slightly faster pace than usual. Many women tell themselves, "I am just out of shape." But I want you to consider this. Your heart and your lungs operate together like 2 finely tuned gears in a complex machine. If one of them is struggling, the other will quickly begin to show the strain. If you find yourself needing to pause to catch your breath more frequently than you used to, particularly without a clear and obvious reason, it is a symptom that deserves your full attention. One of my patients, Maria, who was 70 years old, was convinced she had developed asthma when she found she could not make it up her own driveway without gasping for air. Her subsequent medical tests revealed the early stages of heart disease. The third sign is the presence of swelling in the ankles, feet, or legs. You might notice that your shoes feel significantly tighter by the end of the day. This is not just a matter of having consumed too much salt. It can be a direct signal that your heart muscle is not strong enough to efficiently pump blood back up from the lower extremities, which allows fluid to accumulate. Picture a water fountain with a weak pump. If the water is not being circulated effectively, it will start to pool at the base. That pooling of fluid in your body is known as edema, and when it appears on a regular basis, it could point directly back to the health of your heart. At this juncture, you might be thinking to yourself, "I have definitely felt at least one of these symptoms before." And that is precisely why they are referred to as silent signs. They are incredibly easy to dismiss as everyday, age-related changes, but when viewed together, they begin to create a clinical picture that you should not ignore. And the next 2 signs I am about to share with you are even more surprising because they often appear in places within your body that you would least expect. The fourth silent sign is indigestion, or a persistent heartburn that does not seem to correspond with what you have eaten. Many women are taken aback when I tell them this, because it feels so clearly like a stomach problem, not a heart problem. However, the network of nerves in your chest and your stomach are situated in very close proximity to one another. When the flow of blood to the heart is reduced, it can sometimes dispatch confusing signals that are perceived as burning, bloating, or a sensation of pressure in the upper abdomen. I remember a patient named Helen, in her mid-60s, who kept a constant supply of antacids in her purse at all times. She was convinced that spicy food was the culprit, but subsequent testing later showed that her symptoms were in fact originating from her heart. The fifth and final sign is a notable disturbance in your sleep patterns, especially waking up suddenly in the middle of the night feeling short of breath, restless, or drenched in sweat. After menopause, many women already struggle with the challenges of hot flashes or insomnia. But when these nocturnal episodes are paired with a racing heartbeat or a sense of breathlessness, they can signal something much deeper. Think of your body as a complex piece of machinery that begins to overheat when its cooling system is blocked. At night, when your heart should be in a state of rest, it may actually be struggling to keep up with the demands placed upon it. And the only clue you receive is a night of broken, unrefreshing sleep. When you look at these 5 signs collectively, fatigue, shortness of breath, swelling in the legs, indigestion, and restless sleep, they can certainly seem vague or easy to brush off. That is precisely what makes them so dangerous. Most women do not connect these dots to the possibility of heart disease until a crisis occurs. But knowing what they are now means that you have the power to act before it is too late. In the next part of this video, I will explain precisely why these signs appear more frequently after menopause and the simple, everyday choices that can either protect your heart or quietly increase your risk. This is the part that most women have never been told, and it could completely change how you look at your own health. After hearing these 5 signs, the next question that every woman asks me is why they tend to appear more often after menopause. The answer lies in the profound changes that are happening inside your body when your estrogen levels decline. For decades, estrogen acted like a natural internal shield, helping your blood vessels to remain flexible and supporting healthy cholesterol levels. Once that invaluable protection fades, the risk of plaque buildup and the stiffening of arteries grows much higher. It is not simply about getting older, it is about how your fundamental biology shifts. One of the most common mistakes I see in my practice is women believing that fatigue or shortness of breath is only about a lack of physical fitness. They begin pushing themselves harder at the gym or on long, strenuous walks, but instead of feeling better, they actually feel worse. That is because the problem is not a lack of effort, it is a matter of compromised circulation. Imagine trying to water your garden with a hose that has a partial kink in it. No matter how high you turn up the pressure at the faucet, the flow of water will not improve until you straighten out that bend. The second mistake is thinking that swelling in the legs is harmless or is only related to salt intake. Yes, sodium can certainly play a role, but if your heart muscle has become weaker, fluid will accumulate in your tissues much more easily. Ignoring this sign is like ignoring a small puddle of water that keeps appearing under your kitchen sink. At first it might seem like a minor issue, but if left unaddressed, it can lead to serious and extensive damage. A third mistake is assuming that indigestion or heartburn is always a digestive issue. Women often stock up on over-the-counter medications and make drastic changes to their diet without ever realizing that the discomfort might be originating from their heart. This particular misstep can delay a correct diagnosis for months or even years. Helen, the patient I mentioned earlier, spent nearly a full year treating what she thought was a stomach issue before she finally had her heart thoroughly checked. By that time, she was already facing significant arterial blockages. And finally, many women simply accept poor sleep as just another unavoidable part of aging. But restless nights that are tied to cardiovascular stress are not normal. Your body is sending out alarm signals not just about the hormonal changes of menopause, but about the health of your heart. Dismissing them means missing a critical opportunity to act early. Understanding these root causes is of paramount importance because it fundamentally changes how you should respond. In the next section, I will guide you through the practical solutions, short-term, medium-term, and long-term, that can truly make a difference for your heart health. And I will reveal one overlooked daily beverage that can quietly protect your heart in ways most women have never been told. The good news is that even though menopause changes your biology, there are clear clear, practical, and empowering steps you can take, starting today, to protect your heart. Let's begin with the short-term solutions, the things you can do right now. First, pay close attention to your daily habits. If you have been experiencing fatigue or swelling, start with simple adjustments like reducing your intake of processed salt and making a concerted effort to drink more water. Think of your body as a delicate plant. When its soil is dry, it holds onto every drop of moisture, but when it is well watered, it can release excess fluid more easily. Keeping your body well hydrated helps your heart to move blood more efficiently and significantly reduces the strain upon it. Even something as simple as stretching your legs when you have been sitting for long periods can help to improve your circulation. Next are the medium-term solutions, the steps that build stronger protection over the course of weeks and months. Regular walking is one of the very best forms of medicine for your heart. You do not need to run marathons. Just 30 minutes of brisk walking on most days of the week can help to lower blood pressure, improve your cholesterol profile, and strengthen your heart muscle. One of my patients, Elena, whom I mentioned earlier, began by simply walking around her block after dinner each evening. Within 3 months, she was able to walk 2 miles comfortably, and her debilitating fatigue had lifted dramatically. Another medium-term focus is nutrition. After menopause, your body greatly benefits from foods that are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, dietary fiber, and powerful antioxidants. Think of foods like salmon, walnuts, beans, and a wide array of colorful fruits and vegetables. Imagine your arteries are like the plumbing system in your home. Foods that are high in antioxidants act like a gentle cleansing agent, helping to prevent buildup from adhering to the walls. And fiber works like a natural sponge that soaks up excess cholesterol before it has a chance to clog your system. Now let's talk about the long-term solutions, the choices that can truly change the future of your heart's health. These include scheduling regular checkups with your doctor and diligently keeping track of your blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar levels. Heart disease in women often presents very differently than it does in men, so please do not wait for the onset of sharp chest pain to get yourself tested. Think of these checkups as routine maintenance for your body's most important engine. You would not drive your car for years on end without getting an oil change. Your heart deserves that same level of consistent care. And here is the part that many women overlook. There is one daily beverage that can make a surprisingly significant difference for your heart. Green tea, which is rich in beneficial compounds called catechins and other antioxidants, has been shown in numerous studies to support the health of blood vessels and lower systemic inflammation. Swapping even 1 cup of sugary soda or a sweetened coffee drink for a cup of pure green tea each day is like giving your arteries a gentle internal polish. It is simple, it is natural, and it is remarkably effective. Remember, these solutions are not about achieving perfection. They are about taking steady, caring steps that add up over time. Small, daily changes lead to powerful long-term results. And just like tending to a garden, when you give your body the right kind of care, it rewards you with renewed growth and vitality. In the next section, I will share 2 real-life stories of women who transformed their heart health after menopause, stories that will inspire you and show you just how possible positive change can be at any age. Elena's story is one that I will never forget. At the age of 67, she came into my office and said, "Dr. Stones, I think I'm just slowing down with age. I no longer have the energy to play with my grandchildren." She truly believed that her constant fatigue and her swollen ankles were a normal, unavoidable part of life after menopause. However, her medical tests revealed the early stages of heart disease. Instead of giving up, Elena made a series of small but consistent changes. She swapped her nightly soda for a soothing cup of green tea, she began taking short daily walks, and she was diligent about keeping her checkup appointments. Within just a few months, she had noticeably more energy, and by the time her granddaughter's birthday came around, she was right back out on the dance floor with her. Another woman, Margaret, who was 72, struggled with what she was convinced was persistent, severe indigestion. She carried antacids with her everywhere she went, certain that her stomach was the source of her problems. After I urged her to get her heart checked, we discovered that she had significantly blocked arteries. It was frightening news, to be sure, but Margaret took it with the utmost seriousness. She committed herself to improving her diet, drastically cutting down on fried foods and embracing heart-friendly options like salmon, beans, and fresh berries. Today, she tells me that she feels a decade younger, and most importantly, she is once again able to sleep peacefully through the night. These stories serve as a powerful reminder to me that the body is like a garden. When the soil is neglected, weeds will inevitably take over and the plants will weaken. But if you water it regularly, nourish its roots, and provide it with adequate sunlight, the garden will flourish once again. Your heart works in precisely the same way. With dedicated care and attention, it can thrive at any stage of life. I want you to remember that it is never too late. Whether you are 60, 70, or even 80 years old, your body is capable of healing when you provide it with the right support. Elena and Margaret did not discover any magic pills. They discovered the profound power of steady, consistent, and mindful choices. And now that you are aware of the silent signs and the simple solutions, you hold that very same power to protect your heart and reclaim your energy. In the final part of this video, I will recap the 5 silent signs that you must not ignore and leave you with a hopeful message to carry forward. Let's take a moment to recap what we have learned together. There are 5 silent signs that your heart may be at risk after menopause. The first is a fatigue that lingers, no matter how much you rest. The second is a shortness of breath that shows up during simple everyday activities like climbing stairs. The third is swelling in your ankles or legs. The fourth is a persistent indigestion or heartburn that does not improve with the usual remedies. And the fifth is a restless, disturbed sleep, especially waking up suddenly with a sense of breathlessness or a racing heartbeat. Each one of these signs, when considered on its own, may be easy to dismiss, but when viewed together, they paint a clear picture of a heart that is asking for your attention. Menopause changes your body in ways that make your heart more vulnerable, but it also offers you a precious opportunity, the chance to notice these signals early and to take decisive action before any real damage can set in. We also talked about the tangible steps you can take today. In the short term, hydrate your body, stretch your legs, and ease up on your consumption of excess salt. In the medium term, walk regularly, focus on foods that are rich in fiber and omega-3s, and bring a vibrant array of colorful fruits and vegetables into your daily meals. For the long term, keep up with your medical checkups. Know your numbers, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, and your blood sugar, and commit to the ongoing maintenance of your health. And please remember that overlooked daily helper, a simple cup of green tea, can gently support your heart with every single sip. I have seen women in their 60s and 70s completely transform their health, regain their energy, and rediscover a profound joy in their everyday lives. Elena danced with her granddaughter. Margaret reclaimed her nights of peaceful, uninterrupted sleep. Their stories can become your story too. So here is my hopeful message to you. Your heart is strong, and it wants to continue serving you well. By listening to its whispers now, the silent signs, you can protect it, nurture it, and live with strength and vitality for many years to come. If this video resonated with you, please subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell so you never miss another message, and share this video with a friend. You may not realize it, but one single share could help another woman to recognize these critical signs and change the course of her future. And I would love to hear from you. Have you noticed any of these silent signs in your own life? Please share your experience in the comments. Your words might be the very encouragement that someone else needs to hear today. Thank you for spending this valuable time with me. I'm Dr. Lily Stones, and I will see you in the next video, where we will continue exploring how women over 60 can age with strength, wisdom, and vitality. And before we close, let me remind you that this video is for educational purposes only. It does not replace medical advice. Every woman's body is unique. If you are experiencing pain, significant changes, or have personal concerns, please consult with your healthcare provider. Your well-being deserves personalized care.